Hey guys, it's everyone's worst video of the season, my Apex Legends Season 13 tier list. People don't enjoy these for multiple, valid reasons. A, my takes suck. B, my choices are not backed up by any evidence. But this is what I generally believe about Season 13. It's a great season, by the way. I don't know if you guys agree. Let me know in the comments. Do you think it's a good season? Do you think it's a bad season? But enough of that. Let's get on to the tier list. Now, the main reason why everyone here is to see where Newcastle is. Now, I have placed Newcastle in the S tier #1. In my honest opinion, I think he is the best legend out right now. He has all the good bits about Gibraltar, the used to be good bits about Lifeline, but also is just a very good legend in general. And I'm gonna tell you why. Newcastle's abilities can be used both offensively and defensively as well. He is really good at saving the team, but also pushing the team and then starting those engagements. His ultimate can force engagements. His healing shield when he revives someone is essentially what Lifeline wants to be, but she just isn't cool enough. And then last but not least, his ultimate can provide cover wherever is needed. So whether you're out in the open, boom, bit of cover. You're in a building, you want that little bit extra cover, boom, he's got more cover. Newcastle is a very insane new legend, and I really cannot wait until the ALGS starts and we see Newcastle used with actual strategy, not just a bunch of headless chickens in ranked. Second on the S tier, we have Valkyrie. Now, Valkyrie crept into my tier list as of Stormpoint, as of the new maps, because she is great on maps like Olympus and maps like Stormpoint, those large open field maps. She can relocate her team to anywhere. She can go across the map, she can go to another jump tower to get even further, she can escape, she can dive into a fight. She is an insane tool and a tool I think really needs to be utilized more in Apex Legends. I honestly think Valkyrie is a need in the team. I think Newcastle and Gibraltar are both needs. Obviously, you just pick whichever one you're better at, but Valkyrie is needed in a team. She's a great solo legend. She's a great team player. Valkyrie can scan for enemies with her ultimate. She can scan for enemies when she goes on a balloon. She can basically, as they relocate her entire team across the map, needs be. She can get you out of precarious situations, especially in those final circles where the enemy has the high ground. I faced a team yesterday and we had them pinned, and turns out that the Valkyrie just valked them out and they actually won it in the end. So Valk is in the S tier. Moving on, staying in the S tier, we have our boy Gibby, our boy Gibraltar. Gibraltar is insanely good, as he always has been. I saw a very good tweet, I think it was from one of the kind of pro content creators. If Gibraltar was released now, he'd be broken. Everyone would be calling for nerfs. Gibraltar is a broken legend. He always has been, and he probably always will be. He's a legend that has withstood every season and has stayed in my S tier and no doubt other people's S tiers. Gibraltar's bubble, Gibraltar's ultimate, and his passive, his bigger hitbox but less damage coming in, is insane. His gun shield is the only thing that lets him down, in my opinion, because the gun shield can show people where you are, and unless you're constantly turning it on and off again, things can get a bit dodgy as Gibraltar. Moving on now, we have the last legend in the S tier. It's our favorite adrenaline boy. It's Octane. Octane is a great legend to play as a solo player, as a content creator, as a pro player, because he's fun across the entire board. Very similar to Newcastle, his abilities can be used both aggressively and defensively. So Octane's aggressive play will be the jump pad, stim to flank, get into the fight as quick as possible, get on top of a building with his jump pad, help his team out. But his abilities are also good as a solo. He can escape with his stim. He can charge away with his jump pad. But if his team are in a little spot of bother, he can dip out the back and flank all the way around and come up behind the enemy team to distract them. It's seen multiple times. So again, Octane, Gibraltar, Valkyrie and Newcastle are all in the S tier, and only because all of their abilities can can be used really well with the team. They don't all help themselves, similar to how, you know, Bloodhound Scan, you know, his ultimate only really helps himself. Octane, Gibraltar, Valkyrie and Newcastle, they all help their team as well as themselves, and all their abilities can be used aggressively and defensively, which I think is incredibly key in a game like Apex Legends, where the battlefield can change in a matter of seconds. We have the A tier. Now, this first person in the A tier is going to surprise a lot of you. A lot of you guys got mad because I last had them in the F tier for the last 3 seasons. And trust me, I thought they were garbage. But the first person to come in the A tier is, in fact, Caustic. I was a Caustic hater for multiple seasons until I saw him used in the ALGS. Now, I know it sounds corny, it sounds cringy. Oh, he's in the ALGS now. You know you only like him because no, right? He's really good, but he's only good because the pro players have shown people how to use Caustic. Whenever I played with a Caustic, normally we'd fly into battle, we'd land, he'd throw his trap out onto a rock, and that would do bugger all. Okay, this one time, Caustic is now being played really well, and the same happened with Dota with a legend called Slark. I think I've really ruined his name up. As a huge Dota 2 fan, I've ruined his name. Snark, Schmark, whatever his name is, was terrible until the pros used him, and then everyone got a realization about how good they are. So he is insanely good if now that he's been shown how to play, and I hope you guys agree with me. If you don't, let me know in the comments below. But Caustic being played by pros have finally shown people how to actually play Caustic. Next up, we have Fuse. Fuse, again, was one of my legends, which I didn't really like, but Fuse is absolutely top dollar. He's so good at dealing damage. He's so good at third partying. He's so good at racking up those kills. Fuse is a great legend to play. I personally love grenades. I think grenades are, you know, totally underutilized, totally underused. So as Fused really helps. His ability to highlight people with his ultimate is great, shows for the team as well. But his Q means that he can, you know, in those final rings where you're like testing each other's shields, and you're kind of like, yeah, like a very unsexual dance where you're on one side of the of the rock and the others on the others, and you're just shooting each other trying to get each other's shields down, right, in the final circles. Fuse has an unlimited Q. He can deal multiple damage and keep the pressure on with saving bullets, saving shields and saving health. So Fuse is going to be sitting very pretty in the A tier. Next up in the A tier, we have Horizon. Horizon, again, another legend, funny enough, that I really didn't like. So's the last person. All of A tier I never liked until recently. We have Horizon. Horizon is absolutely goated. Horizon's ultimate can show you where the enemies are. Her ultimate can grab them together, can be used in synergy with Gibraltar, with Bangalore, with Fuse, with Caustic. Insanely good ultimate. Her Q is really good for helping her team and herself get to those high grounds, high spots where where you wouldn't be able to get to most of the time, on top of a rock, on Storm Point, for example, on top of a building in Olympus. She brings, like Valkyrie, great verticality opportunities to Apex Legends. So then Horizon, for me, sits in that A tier. But last in the A tier, another one who I really didn't like at the start is Mirage. Mirage used to be the guy that I would hate because of his voice lines. I hated Mirage's voice lines, and I hated playing with Mirage. I hated playing Mirage, but his voice lines were the worst until I dropped 3K on my first ever game of Mirage and dropped a win. It was insane. I've never seen anything like it from my own play. So Mirage in themselves is insane legend. The 1v1 artist, whether it's arenas, whether it's battle royale, whether it's 2v3s, 1v3s, Mirage is great. He can really mess the enemy team up, confuse them. He can revive with his invisibility. He can call in teammates with his invisibility. He's great. Mirage is awesome. His voice lines, you gotta get used to them, but they are quite funny, and I hate it. They are insane. You need to check out my boy Moose on Mirage. It is he crazy. So that sums up the the A tier, we had Caustic, we had Horizon, Fuse, and Mirage. We're going to move on to the B tier now. Now, this legend, I couldn't decide whether I wanted to put them in the A tier or the B tier, but I have decided to put them in the B tier. So we have Ashe. Ashe is a really good legend. I didn't quite want to put her in the A tier because I don't really class her as, I don't see an Ashe and go, damn, they got an Ashe. I see a Mirage, I'm like, oh crap, they got Mirage. I see a Caustic, I'm like, oh, they got a Caustic. But when I see an Ashe, I'm like, oh, they got an Ashe, you know? So that's how I worked it out. So Ashe is really good. So she's insane at using her ultimate. You know, it closes, so she's able to get her team away safely without a jump pad and getting shot, you know, above, and is just a really good legend because of her Q keeping her trapped. Her Q can be used in synergy with multiple other legends, so that's always good fun. So Ashe is in the B tier. Now this next one though, it's going to get me some flack. This next decision is going to get me some flack. If some fans are going to notice that I haven't said someone who's normally on the S tier, maybe on the A tier, and if you have guessed, it is in fact Bloodhound. Now, Bloodhound's a great legend, don't get me wrong. I personally don't think Bloodhound is as good as people make out to be. The scan's good, but then you know Bloodhound's coming because his giant scan. So why not use Seer, for example? His ultimate makes everything go black and white with red, you know, highlighting red. You should be able to see your enemies without that red line, and to me it's a little bit distracting if it goes from black to white to normal color after the Beast of the Hunt ends. But Bloodhound's, you know, tracking people as well. When you find someone or you're chasing someone down, you don't want to be running across the entire map trying to kill one person, trying to kill two people, because you could very well run into a team of three. So Bloodhound's going to be sitting in B tier for me. Now this next one, Lifeline, I used to put Lifeline in the S tier, maybe the A tier I think it was, but she's in the B tier now. The reason for this is Newcastle. Newcastle has pushed Lifeline out. There is no point in playing Lifeline if you have a Newcastle. Newcastle does everything Lifeline does, but better. The only thing that it doesn't do is by being able to shoot and maneuver whilst rezzing someone. But 8 times out of 10, as playing with a Lifeline, I'm getting revived. I'm laying there dying on the floor. The Lifeline revives me, doesn't forget to cancel the revive, and I'm just laying there, injecting myself, dying. So Lifeline's not a great pick for that. So Lifeline is in fact in the B tier. Next up though, is quite high up for her, is Loba. Loba is awesome. I think Loba really does stick it to the man. Her ultimate is great for early, mid, and late game fights. Early, picking up those, you know, those guns, those parts really quickly. Mid game, sustainability, using shield, using med kits, getting those in, you know, in the black market. And then the end game, getting those shield cells, getting that ammo so that you can keep trading shots with the enemy team in that, you know, in those final circles. So Loba is insanely good, and I think she's warranted her place in the B tier. I would probably put her in the A tier if you could get banners with your black market, but until then she's going to be sitting there. But behind her we have Pathfinder. Pathfinder's really good. The problem with Pathfinder is his skill gap is very high. I'm a mediocre Apex Legends player. I suck as Pathfinder. So Pathfinder has that very high skill level, but even then the only good thing about him is his Q, is his oh my god, grapple, is his grapple. His ultimate is good, but most of the time enemies can use it. If Pathfinder's passive was that he could cut his own zip lines, we would be laughing. If Pathfinder could cut his zip lines, he would be A tier, potentially S tier, because he could use the same thing as Octane with getting his team out. But unfortunately not. So his zip lines leave a lot to be desired. His grapple's good, but again, you need to be good at the grapple, and it only helps himself. It doesn't help the enemy team. He doesn't have a passive. His passive just ceases to exist. So he's in the B tier. But just behind him, we have Season 12's legend, Mad Maggie. Mad Maggie, it's insanely fun to use. She's insanely fun to play. She's really good with shotgun. She's really good with her passive. She's very similar to Fuse in having that constant damage output without having to use ammo, especially in those final rounds. But the one thing that puts Mad Maggie above other legends that I'm going to be saying in the B tier is purely because her Q gets rid of cover. Cover is what separates the boys from the men, the pros from the lower pros. Her ultimate, her passive, sorry, not her passive, her tactical, got there at the end. Her tactical, it stops pros and stops high-level players from using cover better than lower-end players. If you watch a professional play or you watch a Predator play, they will be really, really using cover, the 60-40 rule, 60 in cover, 40 out of cover, shooting, getting it back in. It's insane. So Man Maggie gets rid of that, and that is insane, and that's why she's the final legend in the B tier. So the B tier, we have Ash, we have Bloodhound, we have Lifeline, we have Loba, Pathfinder, and Mad Maggie. Now, moving on to the C tier, we have my favorite. My favorite legend of all time has been bullied season after season. It's been made useless season after season. Bangalore is in the C tier, but I had to put her at the first. I was going to put her in B tier, but B tier was looking kind of stacked. And if I had to compare Bangalore to someone like Pathfinder, Pathfinder wins every time. Bangalore is really good. Bangalore is insane. So the good thing about Bangalore is she has her smoke grenades that she can use to, use for cover. She's got her ultimate, so she can, bring down the heat, I think she says, and cover her teammates if need be. But again, Gibraltar has a better ultimate. It's quicker, it's more efficient, and the cooldown, I believe, is off quicker than Bangalore. So Bangalore's good. The thing that makes Bangalore still useful is her passive, which is one of my favorite passives in the entire game, Double Time. Double Time is like a free octane stim, especially when you're going up against an enemy. You can really skirt them, go left and right, left and right. It is great. It is really fun to use. But unfortunately, her passive doesn't make her a good legend. So she does sit in the C tier. Next up, we have everyone's favorite overpowered legend, because everyone forgot about Horizon when she came out and she dominated for a full season. But Seer dominated for 2 weeks until he got nerfed, and then we never heard of Seer again. I haven't gone up against a Seer in what feels like years. I haven't seen a Seer and gone, oh damn, they have a Seer, we better dip out of here. I see a Seer, I'm like, oh cool, bait. Easy lunch. So serious garbage in my opinion. His rat tracking is okay, but do I really want to use one ability where I can see heartbeats over something like a Fuse or something like a Gibraltar? And then so to me personally, Seer doesn't exactly sit high up on my tier list, but he does in fact sit in front of Rampart. Rampart, we just got a few buffs from her. She's absolutely great. Her ultimate you can whip out and spray. That sounds really wrong. You can take her ultimate out and shoot literally within seconds. It is an insane tool. So Rampart has crept up from D to C. Please give her a try. She's really good. The only problem is Apex is a game about movement, a game about, decision making and maneuverability. Unfortunately with Rampart, when you put these shields down, you end up cementing where you are. You cannot move because obviously you've got to take your shields down, rebuild your shields elsewhere. It just doesn't really work. So Rampart is in the C tier. So that means we have Bangalore, we have Seer and Rampart. The D tier, however, is filled with the garbage legends. First of all, Wraith. Wraith is garbage. Wraith is not good, guys. Don't use Wraith. There are other legends that do what she does better. Her passive only helps herself. Her ultimate kind of really only helps herself because she has to put it down, walk away and put it down. Why not just use Ash? Why not use Ash? Ash has just got a better passive than Wraith. The only good thing about the good ultimate than Wraith. The only good thing about Wraith is the ability to hear when someone's aiming at her. But I always believe in Apex, you should always imagine that someone is aiming at you and about to shoot you. Her tactical only helps herself, kind of garbage, in my opinion. So Wraith is sitting in the D tier. Next up though, we have Watson. Watson just, I don't know about Watson, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I play Watson, my fingers are slipping off the mouse trying to do a Q, trying to do a backflip and shoot the enemy. I feel like with Watson, I always end up using my gun skill over her abilities. I rarely use her abilities. So when I'm having a good game, I never go, oh, my Q really helped me there, or oh, my ultimate really helped me there. So for that alone, I will say that Watson is in the D tier because her abilities, over others are just kind of, useless. And then lastly in the D tier we have Revenant. Revenant is terrible player, guys. Don't play Revenant. I like to meet some Revenant players, okay? Some Revenant mains, because I need to chat to you, because why on earth are you playing Revenant? Other legends exist, right? It's completely free to not play Revenant. You know, the only people that play Revenant are the ones that are doing the daily challenges or the weekly challenges that involve you playing Revenant, and that's very rare. So Revenant is just garbage. His ultimate is terrible because it can be used by enemies. It puts you to half HP. You shouldn't really rely on dying, in my opinion. It's a little bit of a mentality break. And his tactical's good, but I would much rather have like Horizon or an Octane jump pad, for example. And then lastly, in the E tier, we've got no one. No one exists in the E tier. But in the F tier, we have the worst legend to ever come into Apex Legends. Recently got a buff. Recently got everything sorted out. Still is absolute garbage. It is in fact Crypto. Please let me know in the comments below if you enjoy Crypto, why you enjoy playing Crypto. Again, he has the same problem that Watson has. I never, but I see a good Crypto and I get killed by a good Crypto. I haven't been killed by any of his abilities, or I've been killed by the person playing Crypto and his or her gun skill. The problem with Crypto is his abilities actually make him worse, because why would you want to stop, pause, throw a drone out, throw an EMP, when doing all that you can literally just pull a gun out and shoot the enemy. It's good for retrieving banners, especially in the early drops. If your teammate dies on, really early on, you can call him in immediately without having to stand there and type on the mobile respawn beacon or whatever you do on the mobile, respawn beacon. But it's essentially just a really, really mediocre ability. He got buffed, still kind of useless. So that's Crypto. He's in the F tier. Guys, I would love to know what you guys think about my tier list. Do you disagree with everything I've said? Do you agree with everything I said? That'd be quite nice if someone agreed. But please let me know what you think. And until the next video, I'll see you later.